Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to After the Credits, episode 125. We are here for a very special episode. We're down a couple members here today. Taz had a family emergency, and Ben is doing college stuff, but he's on his final week of college. So shout out to Ben. Hope your final couple weeks goes well, my friend. And we have tuning in today someone who was already scheduled. You weren't like a last minute. Oh no, you had been planned actually for a couple weeks now, which is
right. Yeah.
More in advance than I do for a lot of people when I have to have someone sub in for the show. Alan is here. Alan, how's it going, my friend?
Going good. I think I kind of convinced you to do this segment a little bit when we talked.
Yeah,
about it. You seemed like you were. Yeah, you seemed like you were kind of like, I don't know, and I'm like, let's just do it. Let's have a good time. Yeah,
that's how I watch 90% of my stuff now. Where you're like, I'm not going to watch that. But for content, I'm like, I guess I'll do it for content and add one more show to my giant tier list we do at the end of the year, ranking all the shows we talked about. But no, I mean, it's weird because Euphoria is genuinely at one point in time would have been one of my favorite shows of all time. Like at the end of season 1 and at the end of the COVID specials, I was like, I'm in love with the show. I love the show so much. And then the years that preceded that for me were very interesting. It was a weird couple of years. So we are going to talk about that. Short Car says, hello, Short Car. Noir time. No, Jeffrey, we had to postpone Noir till next time, unfortunately.
Spider Noir is on my very long list of TV shows to watch that I don't know when I'll get to it. Mm-hmm. For context, X-Men 97 is still on that list. So, season 1. Yeah. So.
Yes. Yeah. No, I actually still have one more episode. I was going to do it today, but when I found out Taz was going to be here, I was like, oh, wait. Don't.
For Noir?
Yeah. He has a couple more. And I was like, yeah, I like it, though. It's interesting, though, because I don't know if I'd be like, you have to watch Noir. Like, it's a must-watch show. I'm like, yeah, it's good. It's fun. It's a fun show. But we'll talk about that next week, fam. Right, talk about it next week.
I think that's one, too, where the binging might have hurt me watching it. Like, I feel like if it was week to week, that would have made me more kind of enticed to watch it. But I don't know. Now that's all out. I'm like,
It's tough because I also understand why they did, because I almost think it might work better that way. But
right.
I think it kind of killed the show in terms of like talking about it.
Discussion.
Like, it's like oh, it's here, everyone watched it, or they didn't, and it was done.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about that next week, ladies.
Right. Yeah.
But Alan, how are you? Before we just immediately jump into the craziness that is the show we're going to be talking about today, how are you? How have you been? Anything you want to say before we kind of get the ball rolling as we wait for a couple of chats to come in?
Yeah, no, I've been great recently. I've been picking up on content, which I've been making a concerted effort to do. That's why you've been seeing me a little bit more on your channel, Council. Repping the shirt today. Maybe if Chainsaw watches the replay, he'll see that. Everything's been great. Oh, nice. You got the mug. Right. I got to up my my merch that I have. I only have a shirt and a hoodie right now. But yeah, no, everything's been great. I got to see, like you, Masters of the Universe yesterday, which I love that movie. I'm so surprised. Like when I saw that, I had no interest in seeing it, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I wasn't that vocal about it, but I was like, that's just not going to seem like my thing. And I went and saw it with someone who was like a diehard Masters fan, awesome. And he didn't like it. And I was like, dude, I thought that was great. And he's like, the comedy, I was like, okay, fair. I'm like, I don't have that baggage, right? I don't have the history with it. So for me, I just went in blind, and I had such a fun time with it. So, review will be out for that soon.
I had way more fun with that than I thought I would. I'm kind of like mixed on it. Like I saw some He-Man growing up. I had friends that were really into like the classic 80s He-Man. But I saw it with my dad and his brother-in-law, and they grew up on it. Like that was their era of TV. And so that was really fun to have getting there, kind of having that experience. And me as like a kind of a passive He-Man guy, less than passive, just like bare minimum stuff. I was like, oh no, this is fun. This is like fun. It's not like breaking the mold or anything. But I was like, oh, this is a fun like blockbuster experience. It is unfortunate, seemingly not doing as well as they were hoping it would. But
I think I even tweeted last. I think of like blockbusters that have came out this year, that might have been my favorite one. because it hasn't been a great year for blockbusters, right? Like a lot of the bigger movies have been like
it's indie, it's the indie stuff,
horror films. So when I saw that last night, I was like, I don't think there was a blockbuster I've enjoyed so far. And I know that's probably going to change, right, in the next month and a half with everything that's coming out. But like you, I was just I had very low expectations, and I was like, this is so much fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought the soundtrack was like insanely good. That was the part where I'm like, I even went home and added it to my Apple Music right after because I liked it so much. And I usually don't do that unless it really, really sticks with me. So it was,
I saw someone say that it's like the male equivalent of Barbie, and I'm like, I kind of get it. Because it does kind of tackle, like, it's like it has all the fun beats, but it's like, hey, let's pause every now and again to get serious about these like discussions of like masculinity and stuff. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty great. It's
really good.
But yeah, that's awesome. I and you hadn't seen like anything, right? Like you haven't seen like, any of the shows.
I mean, like I knew of He-Man, right? Like I knew of it. I just had never watched it. It was never anything that I think I was just maybe a little too late. Like my older brothers were into it, but not me. Like it was. I think I was just the generation past, and I never got hooked onto it. So I knew nothing. I mean, I watched like a lore explained video before I went and saw it, just so I wasn't like super, behind. But even still, I don't even think I would have needed that. I think the movie does a great job at kind of building the world and just telling you what's going on. So I was, like I said, very much enjoyed it. I thought it was one of my biggest surprises so far this year.
Me too. I watched the like 2018 She-Ra show that came out a couple years ago. And that's obviously not going to be for like everybody, because it's very Gen Z, very gay, very up my alley. But I'm like, I know that's not going to be for everybody, but that show's fantastic. And like that show kind of does a similar thing where it's like, hey, you've never watched He-Man? That's fine. Here's our own little take.
Let's fill you in.
It's pretty great. What is up, Harrison? Harrison said, "What's good, people? Shall be listening while I'm at work." Well, heck yeah, Harrison. Have a good rest of your shift. They're also both primarily toy. They are, true. which is interesting. They're not trying to like. I have not seen any He-Man like Master of the Universe toys pushing for this. Like you'd think that they would try and market a little bit, but again, I get it. Kids aren't really playing with toys anymore. It's not as marketable as it is, as it once was. So.
Now my daughter just plays Roblox all the time, and she'll come in tomorrow with like an entire He-Man world in her game.
Oh, really?
Like anytime there's a movie coming out or anything, she'll come up and she'll be like, look at this game I have here. And I'm like, oh, wow, someone created the entire world of that movie. That's great.
That's awesome.
That's probably what they'll get into.
Mm-hmm. I'm really curious about the commentary here in a couple of weeks with Toy Story 5 coming out. Like, it's so interesting to have one of these Toy Story movies come out where there's not really that many toys. Like, kids aren't really playing with toys right now. So I love if a movie like this could like reignite parents to go buy their kids some toys. Like, I'd love that. I think it'd be awesome.
Especially too with the context of the movie, it being about a tablet overtaking fun. Like, I didn't want this movie, but like it's a pretty good story to tell. If we're being honest.
You have to do a fifth one, this is a pretty like. I kind of am glad they're doing it right now, because it's like, well, this is probably the most valuable plot of one of these movies that you could do. I'm personally pretty fine with.
They could have did it with 4, and I feel like that would have been fitting. Back, just because I think that was post-COVID, if I'm not mistaken, or no, pre-COVID. It was 2019. Yeah,
2019.
But
it's funny. It's funny we bring that, because I literally just today finished my rewatch of like the main trilogy of the Toy Story movies. I finished my rewatch of the third one, which I forgot how perfect that trilogy is together. Like, 1 seamlessly leads into 2, and 2 seamlessly leads into 3. And I don't hate 4 by any means, but I'm like, this is a perfect trilogy. Like, this is so perfect and so genuine. So I've been getting excited for Toy Story 5. I hope it can live up to the hype. But let's lead into Toy Story, a most wholesome conversation, into our main meats and potatoes.
Very similar properties.
Obviously.
Euphoria. Yeah.
Euphoria season 3. I'll try and get a logo up here. I forgot to make a little graphic for the show, but man, like we kind of started off the show talking about it, but man, this show came out at such a weird time. It came out late 2019, right? Yep. It was like right before COVID hit the world, right before the world set on fire. It was this hit show, right? You cast a bunch of these actors that were born to be stars, Sydney Sweeney and Zendaya.
I don't think they knew. I don't think they knew what was going to happen.
Shafis, is that her last name?
Hunter Schafer.
Yeah, Schafer. Yeah, and a bunch of these very big actors, and I mean, what's your just like overall thoughts on like not even just season, but just the show as a whole? When did you start watching it? Were you like a day one?
I wasn't day one. I was very shortly after the first season ended. I had not seen Zendaya in anything up until that point besides Spider-Man. That was my only knowledge of her. And I'll be honest, I don't love her portrayal of MJ. So I was, and that was like right after Far From Home too. So I wasn't like super high on her. And I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine who watched it. And he basically told me, he was like, we were having that conversation. I'm like, I don't really understand the hype with Zendaya. And he was like, go watch this show, right? And you'll understand. And I watched it. And obviously, in like the first 20 minutes of the first episode, there's a whole segment about them like talking about dick pics and like how they send it. And I was literally like, what am I watching right now? What is this? But it was a show that I think I really enjoyed. Like you said, I think after the first season, I was like, this could be one of the best shows out there and going right now. I really enjoyed season 2. You kind of gave me maybe what you thought about season 2 with how you kind of phrased when you liked this series. I was a big fan of season 2 as well. I really loved Angus Cloud's performance and kind of his character development in that season. I cheered when he beat the shit out of Nate Jacobs at the party in the opening of season 2. That was like, an Avengers Endgame moment for me. I thought that was so great. But yeah, I thought it was a step down, though. I think this show has progressively kind of gone down with each season. That's kind of been my mindset of it. But I still think it's a unique enough show, and it has its own flavor and vibe that even though it only went 3 seasons, it took 7 years to get 3 seasons, which is insane. Not necessarily the fault of the show itself, but insane that it took that long. I still think it's going to be one that we look back on and, maybe not rank as one of the greatest of all time, but say this show was unique. It did something that no other show either before or after would do. And it had a very unique style. So that's what I think will be its legacy going forward.
Yeah, I think the show is very... I think that's what really caught the attention of people is how raw it was in its like emotionality. Which, say what you will about the following season, they never lost the rawness of it. Like, even if you don't like it, it's still like it kind of was like, yeah, we're gonna do whatever the fuck we want and fuck whoever says anything about it. And it's like, yeah, all right, man, hell yeah. And yeah, like at the time, 2019, there was a lot less like queer art being made, I'd say, as there is now. And I think that's what really drove me as like someone at the time who was kind of going through my like, ooh, what am I kind of phase. That was a show. I was like, yeah, I'll check this out. It's Zendaya, Zendaya's doing a TV show. And like at the time, like she wasn't even like the Zendaya yet, but she was like up and coming Zendaya. I grew up on Disney Channel, so I grew up on, which is there's such a funny cast interview of like a child at like the like Euphoria convention, and she's asking a question, and like Zendaya doesn't process it because she's used to working with young children, and at all the Disney upfronts, she's like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, who's your parents? Who let you in here? Whose kid is this? Yeah. But yeah, like I grew up, and so watching that, it's such a crazy trajectory from like her work up until that point, and then to do a show like this is so funny. But no, I love season 1. I think I like the specials the most. Like if we were to rank, I'd put those 2 COVID specials in like my S tier. I think they're perfect. Wow. I think they're masterpieces. I love that. They're like, to me, they're like the like definition of art. Just two characters sitting in a room for like an hour, and it's entertaining and it's raw and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Hot take, season 2 is my least favorite out of anything. Like, I will take season 3 over season 2 in a heartbeat.
Wow.
For me.
Okay.
Maybe I need to just watch it again, and maybe it's like I did watch season 1 and 2 back to back, which is maybe my problem. Like, I did. Maybe that's it. But to me, it felt like 8 episodes of people just screaming at each other. And
yeah.
I thought it was a little bit too much. Like, I'm going to steal your boyfriend. No, I'm going to take him back. Like, it was too much of. It was just too much for me. And maybe it's like a sensory thing where it's like I got overstimulated like every episode. Where I kind of like. Not to say season 3 was like great. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I think it's so much better, but I personally had a better time watching season 3 than I did watching season 2. But maybe they'll change by the time we're done talking today. And once we break down this season a little bit.
Yeah. Would you say, so let me ask, so you said you binged both seasons back to back. Was any of those week to week or no?
I binged season 1 catching up with season 2, and then I watched it live through season 2, if that makes sense. So it was still very fresh in my mind.
I was going to say, I will say season 2, I think a lot of it's like lore. Like the thing that people loved about season 2 was that week to week build. Like you had to be on Twitter during that time when the season was airing. Week to week, like there was, I don't know, something about it. It was just like it was a different time during that season. Sure. Like, because I will say that because I'm thinking about, I've rewatched the season since then, and like, yeah, if I wouldn't have been in the thick of it during the week to week release, I don't know if it would have been as like effective for me, and I would have liked it as much. But okay, that makes a little bit more sense then when you say that, because
I'll say this, it did give me one of the greatest memes of all time where like, just play about us. I quote that shit all the fucking time. It's such a good meme. Just play about us.
There was like multiple memes that came from that season, to be honest.
No, and you know, again, like this show, like even at its worst, I gotta give it to the performers of the show. If you like the actors or not, if you're a fan of them personally, almost all of them give a fantastic performance every season, despite what the material may be. Like, I'm watching season 3 and I'm like, okay, some of the things they give to Sydney Sweeney, I'm like, okay,
oh my god,
this is the choice. But even though I don't always love her as an actress personally, I'm like, she's doing a good job, like she's doing a really good job as this character. So
and I think that's what a lot of the show does really well is characters. Like, I think when you look back, like the characters are very very deep, like very layered. Like there's just a lot to them. They're not like very one note characters, and I think that's what sticks out about the show a lot.
I agree. Let's answer these last couple of super chats, and then we can dive into the meat that is season 3. Season 2 quite literally started on my birthday last year. Well, happy belated birthday. Is that what that'd be? I don't remember when season 2 started.
I don't even remember when it started. I was gonna say.
Wow, can't believe you didn't watch Shake It Up. Yeah, man, come on.
That I missed. That was past my time. I missed that.
I think I was a little bit more into Casey Undercover. I think that was more of my.
That was past my time. Yeah. I think that's my wife and daughter saying hi.
Oh, hello. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you so much. We answered that one. It was June 5th, 2019 when season 1 started. So yeah, they were.
That seems right. Yeah.
Decent bit before COVID. I think they had started production on season 2 during COVID, and it was like, nah, go home, bye bye. Which I think
schedules and
people like to give shit to this era of shows where like it took 7 seasons, but I'm like, it's just they had an unlucky draw. And I do think COVID heavily fucked with the show in a long run. I think the show probably would have had more seasons if it was not due to COVID. They got caught in between. Well, season 2 was COVID. Like COVID completely fucked the show.
Right. Yeah.
And the writer's strike fucked with season 3. Like they could not catch a break.
I think schedules too had a lot to play with it because
absolutely
Jacob Elordi, Sydney Sweeney's, and they really blew up after season 2. I think at least the other two. Zendaya was kind of already there after season 1, and then both of them blew up, and then you could kind of and we'll get into it, but like with season 3, you could tell that like they had no time when they were all together. It was not. They were never on a stage and in a shooting together. That never happened. Yeah.
There was about 3 different shows happening in season 3, which I don't even think is like a bad thing inherently, but it's very clear. Oh, we're at least 2 different shows. Like there's this subplot and then there's this subplot, and they tried their best to cross them over, but sometimes they don't exactly succeed in that. But I think you're right. I think like my take going forward, and I know this wasn't completely their fault. I know they weren't expecting like Jacob Elordi and Sydney Sweeney and these actors to blow up the way they did. But my take going forward is like, hey, if you're planning a multi-season TV show, let's try to cast unknown actors for they can just do that. And again, I know not everyone else was their fault, but Zendaya was already a star when you casted her. Like maybe don't do that. I had the same problem with like Wednesday. It's like, well, as good as she is, Jenna Ortega, like she's already a star. She's always doing other stuff. Like maybe don't do that. I don't know. But yeah, let's dive into season 3. I don't even know where to begin with season 3. It's like, and I binged it over the last couple days. My thoughts are very jumbled. I don't have a clear like through line with the season. It's just a bunch of information in my head. Where do you want to start with season 3? What's like I guess like what's your just like general vibes, general opinions on season 3?
So, and we kind of talked about this a little bit before we started. I don't really know how overall I feel about the season. It's kind of similar to how I felt about the last season of The Boys, where I think if you took individual episodes, I don't think they're that terrible. But when you take the entire season as a whole, I was just kind of confused at the direction and the vibe that we went with here. Sure. Like, and I'll kind of just nitpick a little bit here what I think about specifics. This didn't, and I said it at the beginning of the season, this didn't feel like season 3 of Euphoria. This felt like a spinoff that was completely separate from the main show. Yeah. And I don't think that changed throughout the entire 8-episode run. I think having or not having Labyrinth as the music composer was very sorely missed this season. That was one of the key elements when I talked about like the vibe and the tone of the show. I think the composer was very much established what the vibe was of this show. I think the performances all around were great. Certain characters, and you probably know who I'm talking about, felt like not even the same character that we had for 2 seasons before this. Specifically Nate, we'll just say it. Like I felt like Nate Jacobs' character, I was just dumbfounded as to what happened. Like I understand, you know, like people have tried to explain like, oh, well, it's 5 years later, he's at a different point. I'm like, sure. We saw none of that. We saw none of the progress to that. So it's like, I don't know. It just was very jarring. It felt like Sam Levinson was trying his best to impersonate Quentin Tarantino all season. And he's just not Quentin Tarantino. I'm sorry. You're not good. And I think the finale especially kind of encapsulated that. I mean, it felt like a Django face-off that we had at the end. So it was just, it was some character arcs though. I felt like, you know, like with Rue, I think where she ended up and how that played out, I actually was kind of okay with it. And I felt like it was naturally where we were heading towards, but other characters just didn't really make sense to me. And we're putting a lot of focus on characters that weren't here the whole time. And I don't know. My thoughts are all over the place, just like how this season was, right? Like that's what the season was. It was just everywhere. There was nothing consistent and on the same path. It was just weird.
And again, I wonder, like, again, I'm so curious how much of that was like, Cody even mentioned that like Zendaya was like finished filming in April while the rest went to October. So I do wonder if they were like, okay, how do we do this show with our cast in different places and stuff? And, I don't even like, again, I don't like hate what's there inherently. Like, I don't think what's on the screen is necessarily like bad. I think it's all very contempt television. I think it's all very well made still in terms of like what's there. Yeah. But I think sometimes it's such a big jump. Like it's such a massive jump into what it was previously. Like there are scenes where I'm like, like there's episode 5 opens up with like you know, Sydney Sweeney's character,
Cassie Zilla, was that the one?
Yeah, like
Cassie Zilla,
she's making her titties on like the windows as like a giant, and I'm like, I literally paused it and was like, what all right, you're doing this. All right, let's do it.
Yeah. I think when me and my wife watched that episode, we literally, after like the first 5 minutes, we were like, what are we watching? What is this? Like, is this Sydney Sweeney's OnlyFans promotion? I'm so confused on what we're doing here.
In like episode 6, when like Rue is in the hole and he's on the horse and he has a golf club and I'm like, this isn't necessarily bad, but it's such a tone shift that to what and I was so confused by that too, because I knew Rue died this season. I had heard that from the night it happened. Like, it was everywhere. I wasn't going to avoid it, and that's fine, whatever. Which maybe helped me actually in having swallowed that moment more because I was expecting it. But like, people were using the GIF of that with him on the horse and swinging and things. So I thought that's how she died. And so when it happens in episode 6 and they cut, I'm like, how the hell does she live 2 more episodes with that ending in place? But yeah, it's, I think the season definitely has a tone issue as well. It doesn't quite know if it wants to be a silly, and I guess that's kind of the whole show as well. Like, sometimes it's a silly little goofy show, and then sometimes it's like, oh no, this is some serious shit. Right. And I think there's sometimes the serious shit is a little goofy to me sometimes. Like, I'll be honest, when Nate died, I did chuckle a little bit. Just the way he dies is so like absurdist.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Looney Tunes. It was like, what are we doing here? This is how he dies? Like, I don't know. I talked about like season 2, right? In the opening where like Fez beats him with the bottle and beats him up. I'm like, him getting like attacked like that would have been a more satisfying and death that made more sense to me, right? Cassie and Maddie basically saving him, but then him still dying from being bitten by a snake because they buried him with a hole where anything could get in there realistically. I don't know. It didn't feel satisfying.
He's a snake, I don't think. I think you could have just had him suffocate down there.
Or something, yeah, right.
Which I think that moment works better too, because like you already know he's dead like 20 minutes before they do the thing. And so when he as an audience, we know he's already dead. So I think it would have worked better if it was like you don't know yet. Like maybe they got to him in time, maybe you don't, and building onto that would have worked better for me, I think.
They could have even just did it by not showing us the snake going down it. Like, we just saw it, like, slithering over to it, but we don't see it actually going in and the whole scene with it next to him and stuff. But it was just, I don't know. It's so hard to describe my feelings on this season because, like what you said, I think there is a lot of good stuff here. I just don't. The cohesiveness and like everything as one, it just felt weird and all over the place. Not what we were accustomed to. And
no, and yeah, I think you're right, and I do think they are. I'll be honestly be shocked if they don't at least attempt a spinoff for the show, because it's definitely in the DNA, and it kind of feels like that's what they wanted to do anyway. Like you kind of look at the season and they kind of want to make it. It kind of feels like the Cassie and Maddie show this season, which I don't even think is terrible. Like I don't even think like that. Like probably the moments I actually enjoyed the most, especially. I mean, not all of it. Some of it was like a little bit too far. There are moments where I'm like, this is just a porno. This is just this is just a porn fantasy. But I like the Maddie stuff. Maddie for me carried the season. Like Maddie, I actually think this might be her best season. Like Maddie has been a character that while I never hated Maddie, was kind of reduced to like the jealous girlfriend character for 2 seasons, and her being like, I hate my boyfriend, but I'm never breaking up with him. Like that was her for 2 seasons.
Right. Yeah.
Season they're actually like, oh no, she's a businesswoman and she's someone that will, whatever it takes, will get what she wants, and she will, push to find her goals. I was like, oh, this is one character I think improved in this new setting. I think that's just because they kind of gave her the Rue treatment. Like they kind of, like with Rue kind of on the side burner for a lot of the season, stuff kind of just landed to her, and they got a lot more screen time on her, which I thought was actually one of the better ideas. And I really like how they kind of play with expectation with their character, because going in I was like, okay, obviously she teams up with what's her name? I always forget her name. Cassie.
Oh, Cassie. Yeah.
Ends up with Cassie. I was like, oh, this is like a revenge story where she ruins her life and she does all these things and she ends up working. I was like, oh, this is going to end with like her being like owning her and all this stuff. And it doesn't. Like, yes, it kind of ends up there. It's not a point of like, I'm going to ruin your life. It's like, yeah, we're going to work together because this best suits me. And I thought that was such an interesting turn of like, oh, she's someone that works really hard and has these ambitions and these dreams. And I thought that was fascinating.
Well, I think even by the end, it kind of exemplified that, like, even though Cassie betrayed her in season 2, that, like, she still looked at her like her best friend, which is insane. Because, like, anyone else, or at least most people in the world, by the time you get to where they're at the end of this season, she would, like, most people would not have saved her or tried to save Nate and help her in that instance. So that kind of, I think, shows Maddie's character development, because a lot of people forget, like, she was kind of evil in season 1. Like, there was a lot of bad shit that her and Nate did. They basically framed the one guy for rape when he didn't really do anything besides have sex with her at a party. So, like, she was doing some pretty evil shit back in season 1. So it's kind of, I think it's been a steady redemptive arc. I think her kind of having all that stuff happen to her in season 2 was to get her to where she was in season 3. And yeah, that's true. It basically is them falling in love again. As you know, I don't know about relationship, but like best friends, right? Like she
even said Cassie trauma bonded. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And Cassie talked about it too at the beginning of the season, where she was like, "Oh well, I found the love of my life in Nate, but I ruined the expense of my other love in my life with you." So it was always there.
Which is why, like, I'm not saying I want a spinoff. I'm not saying I'm like, oh, I think like they better make this. But I would be so fascinated if they do that with those two, because they are such fascinating individuals where I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I would be curious to see the like shenanigans that would ensue, especially with Cassie is such a silly character, and the way they've kind of put them in this kind of like the like middle of like a crime war, this crime world. I do think it's fascinating. I would be potentially open to that if it presented itself. But again, this whole season kind of felt like it was like
a spinoff anyways.
It felt like they wanted to like. It felt like they wanted to keep the show going, but without Zendaya. Not that they don't want Zendaya there, but it's like, well, she's not here. Like, she's doing Odyssey and Spider-Man and all these other big projects. So they were kind of like, but also like, it doesn't end in a way where it's like, if we never get the spinoff, it ruins the show. Like, they end off in a place, I think, where it's like, oh, I'm satisfied with both of their endings, relatively. For, you know, lack of a better word, you know, I don't feel like there's a lot on the table that needs, you know, carried on if they don't do it. But I do agree with your whole Nate thing. Like, Nate felt like a remnant of the past. There's a part of me that would have just been like, keep him, like, just don't bring him back. As an actor, Jacob Elordi is checked the fuck out. He is like a miles away, and then his character kind of just is kind of a plot device for Maddie. I'm sorry, for Cassie.
Right?
Like, he doesn't do anything himself.
We talked about scheduling. Obviously, was an issue with this season. You got him and Sydney Sweeney together for the first 3 episodes, and then after the wedding, he is a non-factor. Like, yes, his plot is still going on in the background, but like, he's not there. They got married and spent like 8 months, the first 8 months of their marriage, not together. Like, it was just so. I'm like, I don't know if it was scheduling conflicts for him or I don't know. A lot of people have theorized. I tend to believe that he did not like playing Nate so horribly.
I don't blame him.
Horrible character.
He's horrible.
But if you're coming back for 1 season, like just do it. Like, be the character that you were and go out. You know, and you were going to be done anyway. So like, I just don't understand the tonal shift. With like, he's not. If they would have said that the character that Jacob Elordi played this season was a twin brother of Nate's that we didn't know about the entire time, I would have believed them. I would have said, that checks out, because this is a completely different character. This is not the same person. So.
I like elements of what they're doing. Like I do like, like Nate's obviously been a very toxic, very evil character.
Yeah.
And I did almost enjoy the stuff in like the first half of the season of like the flowers and the wedding and like they're back and forth. Like we're not spending fucking like $1 million on flowers. Like, no, I want it. Like I thought, like, even though it was a bit annoying, I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I think it's at least a fascinating view on like the like psychosis of rich people. Like I thought that was interesting. And I do think I did kind of enjoy, like, once Nate is broke and he has nothing left, I did really enjoy how the table had turned on how he perceives his wife or his partner. Because it starts out being like, no way, F no, I will never allow you to do this, until it affects him, until he's benefiting from those actions. And I do think that's a really interesting character choice to be like, very similar to like our like obsession like conversation where like, oh, he doesn't care about his wife until he literally needs her to provide for him. And he it is only until that point that he decides to be a supportive husband to her. And I did think that was a really good character choice. Like I think that does line up the things we've seen from Nate in the past. But more of that. Show me more. I want him on screen showing that. I don't want him gone for that. Like I would have liked to seen him struggle while she's away to fucking dig his hole even deeper into debt and all this stuff. Like when he's like on his knees, like begging for them to like go save the flag. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was fun. I was like, oh, I love seeing how desperate he has become in his life. I thought that was great. There's not enough of it. It's like sprinkled in there.
So that scene in particular, when I was watching it week to week, felt like, oh, this is old Nate coming back out. He's about to crack and become old Nate again. And it didn't happen. And we just didn't get him basically for the rest of the season. He didn't do anything. My honest opinion with the character and what I think Sam Levinson was trying to, like the story and the arc he was trying to tell for Nate this season was, we all probably know people who were like Nate Jacobs, who very much peaked in high school, were alpha dominant figures. And then when they finally go into the real world, they can't do the things and take control the way they did in high school. And I think that's what they were trying to tell with Nate, that like once this dude finally got out into the real world and he had to abide by the rules of the actual adult world, he was weak. He was useless. He couldn't do anything that he did in high school. My problem with that, though, is that we just didn't get enough of it. And we didn't get a natural progression to that point. Where he is like completely healed, right? All of his trauma, like he's having that conversation with his dad in like the first 2 episodes about, how his dad represses his feelings about him being gay and just all this stuff. And I'm like, Nate, when did you go to therapy and you deal with those issues?
Yeah.
Because there was a lot left on the table too there. Look, there's always been questions about Nate's sexuality and about how he feels about Jules and Maddie and Cassie, truly. And we got none of those answers. So for me, that's very disappointing because Nate was basically the villain of the first 2 seasons. He was the big bad.
Which I kind of forgot about this season. Like he's kind of just chilling most of this season. I'm like, all right. But yeah,
he's the big bad of those first 2 seasons. So when you kind of relegate him to a side character whose plot doesn't really last, like if you take total screen time, he had like 3.5 episodes this entire season, and that's insane to me. Like that for him to not be a part of it in such a big way, I just didn't understand. And then his character was completely different, so it just, I don't know, it was weird. It was very weird decisions to me.
And I think while watching it, it really didn't hit me because again, it's been almost 3.5 years since the last season, and I'm binging it or whatever. But you are right, like he is, like, I think in terms of like worst characters of all time, I think Nate Jacobs is on that list. Like he is a horrible person. Which is why he's fun to watch. And I think Jacob Elordi does a brilliant job with his character. I think they do a really, really good job. And again, like I don't think his performance is bad here. Like I love their like dinner table like debate in like episode 1, I think, of them. Like it's so ridiculous and silly, but I'm like, this is fascinating. I think it's such an interesting choice. And then they kind of just forget.
I think too, it just kind of like exemplified that he was making essentially the same mistakes that his dad did. He was suppressing who he really was. He was trying to live this like white picket fence style life with the blonde with big boobs wife. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he really wanted any of that, but I think they didn't explore it and they didn't do anything with it. Like, it felt wasted. I feel like there was a lot of potential, but they just didn't do anything with it.
They don't love, like, I think Cassie loved Nate. I don't think Nate loved Cassie. I think he loved the idea of what Cassie was.
Of what she represented, right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cody asked, would you say the time jump destroyed the show?
Well, maybe not destroy, but I think a lot of the problems have to do with the fact that they had to jump so far ahead. Because these people were just much older. Like, it was 4 years between season 2 and 3, and yeah.
I wouldn't say the idea of the time jump destroyed the show. I just think it's such a huge, like, I think you could do this time jump without pivoting so much.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Like,
you're right. Yeah.
I wouldn't say the 5-year time jump killed it. I do think making it like like you said, like a Quentin Tarantino action drug dealer. Like, I was like, okay, this is like, and again, I didn't hate it, but I was like, okay, this is a big jump, and I do think they needed relatively to do at least a little bit of a time jump. Like, these are all these actors are in their almost 30s now. Like,
right. Yeah.
I do think we needed to be out of high school. I do stand by that.
Yeah. That would have been crazy if they were still in high school.
Yeah. So, again, I don't know how much to blame them and to blame like all the things surrounding it and like availabilities and COVID and all this stuff. They were in a tough case for sure.
And I also think too, we haven't really touched upon it yet. I think it's pretty clear that there was a lot of plans for Fesco's character in season 3. That with Angus Cloud tragically passing, kind of threw that into disarray. And I think, we can bring her up, but I think you really see that with the character of Lexi. They gave her nothing this season. I couldn't believe that, like, she just had nothing to do. And I kind of thought her character was really annoying this season, which I've never been a huge fan of her character in general. The best stuff she had, though, was with Fesco and their kind of relationship that they started to build in season 2. So, I think that had a lot to do with it as well. Because, especially with where they left off in season 2, it's like he clearly was going to have a big role. There was going to be more to tell there with him.
I think she's an interesting character. She doesn't really stand on her own, though. Like,
no.
She's just kind of there to bounce off of other characters this season. Like, I do like the stuff when she's like angry at Cassie for taking over her life and all these things. Like, I think what she represents is very interesting. This person that judges these things for being judgy, but then judges herself. Like, I thought, like, as someone who kind of agrees with her, where she's like, oh, I can't like religion because it's, they like judge everything. I'm like, hey girl, you're also judging everything.
You're doing the same thing.
Like, she's very, hyperbolic in a lot of how she feels. And, she's that like younger sister, right? Is she younger? She's younger, right? Or is she older?
No, I think she's older.
She's older. Okay. Yeah. Like, older sister that's like always in the shadow of her younger sister. Who gets everything. Yeah. I think I like that stuff. It's good. I would have liked more stuff on her own, though. I do like where we ended, though. Like, I feel like they ended in a pretty nice place with her sister.
Yeah.
But there's no build up to that. It's just kind of like, oh, here it is, whatever. She like last minute becomes like a hardcore Christian. She's reading the Bible and stuff. I'm like, this feels like such a left turn for her.
Well, they did leave that a little ambiguous because she kind of was like, oh, I don't know. I read the Bible. Like, they left it ambiguous on if that's really what she's going to do. But and I think that's another plot line. Like, there was more you could have done with the sister relationship with her and Cassie.
Which I guess you could also potentially, if you do a spinoff, she is a character I could see kind of you throwing in that as well, like the three of them or whatever. Feels like it would fit in that world as well. So we'll see. A big fat maybe. Alamo Brown is a new addition this season, and I actually liked him more than I thought I would. Like,
he was great. I think he's great. Yeah.
Is it part of a different show? Sure. It doesn't feel like it's part of Euphoria, but I was like weirdly always pretty entertained by his inclusion. Like, I think every scene he's in, he does a really good job, and he does steal the screen. Yeah, he's really good. I really enjoyed his stuff there.
I think it goes back to, though, I was a huge fan of the character. I actually liked the storyline too. I kind of liked him being kind of the polar opposite of what Lori was. I was playing mug and shirt today, Chainsaw. Yeah, I liked him as a villain. Now knowing though that it's the final season of the show, do I think we should have spent so much time with him? No. And I think he kind of brought in the Tarantino ripoff style that I talked about. Like he was kind of like the manifestation of that, like Sam Levinson trying to be like, "Hey, I can do Tarantino," and it's like, "No, brother, you can't."
I kind of wish they didn't kill him. Like he's a character I would have liked to have seen again. Yeah,
I agree. Even if he would have like ended, maybe like even if he ended the season in jail, just like knowing that he's still there, I think would have been enough to get me excited. But I thought he had a great performance, and he was a great villain. So like, I'm not taking anything away from the actor. And I would say I think that was probably one of the better written storylines. Like when it comes to consistency and how it stayed the whole season. I think it was really good.
He kind of reminded me of like classic Euphoria. Like his like opening flashback stuff was like very season one, very season two for me. And I think that's actually the whole season. Like anytime they do flashback for characters this season, I'm like, oh, this is why I love the show. It was fantastic. I love this kind of like long haul. Oh fuck, this is so fucked up, but so it's so entertaining and so interesting. And I thought his whole thing about how he views women was so interesting, where it's like, I will never let one control my life again. Yeah. And then his final arc of like, oh, but I have. Like, literally everything I built is about uplifting women and, like, doing this stuff, and I have let them control me. Which, again, why I kind of wanted him to live, because I was like, that feels like the start of an even more fascinating story arc, like, next season or whatever. Like, that's so interesting. And then how they... Like the actual ending of the show, and then we'll end it with the Rue conversations we'll have here in a second. But like, let me talk about the ending itself first with Colin Domingo's character,
Ali Castle.
Ali, which he's Black pretty consistent. He's pretty I mean, I love him as an actor. He's like,
he's great. Like,
one of my favorite actors of all time. I think he's masterful, and I think he carries this show. Like anytime the actor just talks in just anything, I'm just like, yep, this is peak cinema. He's fantastic. I love him. The show does kind of become his show in the last like 45 minutes of the finale, which I don't hate because I love him, but I'm also like, okay, this is interesting. Like I was not expecting it because he was missing this season. He wasn't here for 90% of it. So when he comes back at the end, I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing this. Do you like where we take his character? He kind of like Rue's death was really the like, well, fuck it, I guess. Burn everything to the ground, which I haven't decided if I really like or dislike yet. Like I haven't made up my mind on it.
Yeah, I was very positive on that. I thought that really worked well for me. I like you said, with kind of doing backstories. I know it wasn't necessarily one for him, but kind of having that moment where we go back and we see all the sponsees that he had pass away kind of just sets the table for where his mental state is at by the time Rue dies. And I will say Ali has always been a character that has consistently been there for Rue and has always wanted to help her and make her life better. So the fact that that's kind of where he ended and where his arc went, I liked it. I really thought he was going to die in that shoot off. Obviously, with how it played out, with Bishop turning on Alamo, kind of helped with that. So as it was playing out, I think I was like, oh, I don't really like this. That he's going to just go in here, kill Alamo probably, and then sacrifice himself, get killed by everybody. So I was kind of happy. I was kind of happy that he lived and that he went to that ranch in Texas.
The farm. The farm, really good ending. Yeah.
Right. I thought that was really nice. And then seeing Rue, at the table as like basically the final scene of the series, I thought was very fitting. I was obviously like you, I kind of feel weird that the like final confrontation and like ending sequence is between Ali, who's basically just been a supporting background character for Rue, and then a villain that I like but has just been introduced this season. It just felt weird. Like again, it's another thing where I'm like, the decision making of making that the finale.
That's how we got there. Yeah,
it's very weird, right? The fact that Rue died like halfway through an hour and a half episode, that was certainly a choice. And again, one I don't really feel. I don't know how I feel about it. It's just it was just very weird. But that whole ending, I will say that sequence in the club, like when he basically becomes Ali Castle in that moment, becomes the Punisher. That was great. I loved that whole sequence. Fantastic. I thought it was great. And then,
I mean, that's a fucking spinoff. Give me fucking like him on a run, just taking out all these fucking drug dealers and shit. Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun. I would definitely watch that. But yeah, I thought that was very like representative of the whole season, where it's like it's just an odd place to end the show, like the whole show, like all three. Now that we know it's a series finale, like the fact that that's the last thing we did, it was just I don't know.
It kind of goes away from Rue, which I think should have been the center point. Which I haven't made up my mind if I like the fact that Rue died. Part of me is like I think it's a good ending, but part of me is like I don't know. Like I think there's two very clear endings. You either have her die or you don't, and I think there is validness in both. I don't know. I think there's a part like I was so happy. I think that's why it's hard for me because I almost really liked where they were ending it. Like I like the beginning of the season or like halfway through her being like, I want passion. I want something I'm passionate about. I feel good about. And when she puts down the bottle and runs the save him from prison and stuff like that, I was like, oh, this is so great that she finally found something that she's passionate about. And that's her friends. And I like the idea of it. And then obviously they took it away by saying, no, she just kind of, there is a part, I don't know. There's a part of me that like the whole show has been about her like trying to fight against these drugs and this temptation. And I think a part of me left the episode being very depressed of like, like she never beat it. And I know that's a very realistic ending. I know that's the whole point is that like drugs will literally ruin like every lives it touches and it hurts so many people. And that's the point. But there's also part of me that's like, I wanted her to beat it. Like I wanted her to succeed and stuff like that. So I'm mixed on it. Like it's not a bad ending, but I guess it's not the one I wanted necessarily, if that makes sense. I don't know.
No, yeah. I think obviously from the beginning, like there's always been theories about why she's narrating the show. I think that's been a theory from day one that the show started with her birth, ends with her death, and that's kind of where we're going. I like you, I agree. I think they were kind of teeing it up that she was finally going to get away and be able to start a new life where she could finally be clean. I just think there was just too much that happened. I think she's been through way too much where even if she would have gotten that ending, I think it is more realistic to say something would have happened somewhere along the line. And, speaking as someone who, has had family members who lost lives through addiction, I've had friends who have been addicts. Her portrayal of an addict is one of the best performances. It's one of the greatest performances ever.
Yeah.
And that's a whole show thing, it's not just this season, but she did such a great job at portraying that and then the tribulations as well of what addiction can do to your life. It's just another thing that for me is like execution, right? I didn't like that because basically I know she wasn't sober this season. That was established pretty early on. It seemed like she wasn't doing any hard drugs the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of just the way that it happened, because...
It felt very random at the end, right? Like, I felt like they knew where they wanted... Yeah.
Like, in my eyes, she was murdered, right? Like, it was... Yeah, she took the drugs, but, like, Alamo was intentionally lacing those to kill her. Like, that was... And there was a debate about that after the finale, and I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking. Like, some people thought that she took like 10 pills and overdose. I'm like, no, she very clearly was given fentanyl by Alamo. Like that was, and then even with Ali and like testing the drugs and then going to him after, I was like, I feel like people watch shows with their eyes closed sometimes.
She had she had a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, no, she was killed by Alamo. That's what it was. So for it to be that, like the messaging of her dying and what they were telling, I would have been fine with, but then for it to actually not have been her really at the end,
I I wish it felt more impactful. Like, I wish it felt like I think that's ultimately my issue with the ending itself. Is like, I think that should have been the final moments of the show, and then it goes on for another 30 minutes, and the like viewpoint of the show switches to someone different. And again, it's not bad, but it should have been real. Like, I do love the moments when she is like revisiting the pilot episode where she's seeing herself through the window, and as Jules is riding the like that's awesome. That's really cool. I don't know. Also, Jules fucking they forgot about her 90% of the season. Good God, that pissed me off.
I don't even like. Okay, so I'll be honest. I've never been huge on Jules. I think of all the characters, like the main characters of the show, I think she was clearly the best in season 1. I think she's been severely underused.
I agree.
Less and less the longer the show has went on.
I agree.
And I just don't like, what was her purpose this season? Like, I genuinely couldn't tell you if you asked me. I think they should have just not had her come back because I think like they only brought her back because she's a member of the cast and she's a big part of the show, but like they clearly don't know what to do with her, and I think that's a damn shame because arguably she was the co-lead of the show, especially in season 1. It was all about their dynamic, and they just clearly did not care at all about telling that story this season. They're like, I kind of felt like she was here as like a, just like, hey, thank you for being a part of the show all these years. And I think there's elements I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Like, I like the element, like there's some really interesting commentary and like relationships and like what makes a relationship and like how do we view it in different ways. I think was really started to be interesting. Like, I started to be like, okay, we're getting somewhere, but they only half-ass it. Like, it's like half of a storyline, and they never fully commit to her feelings on her husband. Are they married? I don't know.
Sugar daddy sort of dynamic.
I think they said he was married, so like she was kind of like just the side toy, I guess, that he owned.
Which I think is an interesting story.
It was weird. Yeah.
Like I think on paper it's interesting. I was like, okay, how does like it's someone being like, I don't believe in relationships, but it's like clearly you are craving more than what you currently have, and I don't know. There's something there that could be cool. I do hate their final moments being like her slapping Rue and her going on the painting. Right. That's our final moments. That doesn't sit with me well. It doesn't.
And if Sam Levinson had written that to kind of make her have guilt for how she treated Rue at the final time she saw her, we didn't spend enough time after the fact to establish anything.
No.
And that's really her whole arc. Like, I don't like, she was there to rekindle a little bit with Rue, and that's it. And then to, screw up a job that Lexi got her. But outside of that, I don't know what she did. I don't know what was even the point of having her.
It's just burning time. Yeah.
Right. And I even talked about it earlier when talking about Nate. You could have had her doing something with him to kind of like wrap that up, because again, that's something that was in season 1 that we've just really never finished and never talked about. I
did love their like wedding scenes. Like I thought that was a really cool scene. So that more of that, and it is unfortunate because like I think the show made history when it did, because there is just so little trans representation in media in general. It's just non-existent for many shows, and so the show went on the map because it's like, I think prominent.
Well, I was gonna say, I think there's more now, and it's probably credited to the first season of Euphoria. Like that, introducing her in that season, I think made it more acceptable than it once was. So I would give the credit to this character, for that happening, and to be wasted in the sense when you were such a pillar of the show. I don't get it. I don't understand.
It goes into like your like spinoff thing where it's like, they probably should have just done a Maddie and Cassie.
Spinoff. Yes,
it's like they wanted to do those two characters and then do like a crime lord storyline, and Rue just happened to fit into that. Yeah, that was kind of, they were like, all right, everyone else is whatever.
Which I think they should have just did that, because if you would have kind of cut off Rue's storyline and had it be its own show, then Maddie and Cassie and that whole storyline be its own show, I think that actually could have worked. But the fact that they tried to like cross it and mix it together, it just didn't work. It didn't feel coherent and consistent.
No. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. The season's been an interesting journey.
Yeah, sure. And that's the exact feelings of this season. It's just like, I don't know, I don't know. I don't know how.
Shout out to Elliot, which apparently the actor filmed stuff for the season, but it just wasn't here.
Who? I didn't hear you.
Elliot from
Dominic Fike. Yeah.
But he filmed stuff, but no, I mean, not that I needed. It was probably them
nothing.
There, yeah.
Honestly, if it was cut in a season where a lot of stuff could have been cut, it probably wasn't necessary.
Fair. I just think it's interesting. I was like, oh, well, that was, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I don't have too much else to say. I actually had more to say than I thought I would have to say. So,
right, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Great. Do you have like a favorite character? Do you have like as a saying goodbye? Do you have like a list of favorite characters or something that you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I mean, Rue. I think Rue was obviously the centerpiece of the show. Zendaya's performance, one of a kind to me. I really, really liked Nate Jacobs. I know, and not as a character. I want to preface.
Sure.
That. I didn't like him as a character. I was not like, hey, I relate to him or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the layers to the character and Jacob Elordi's performance. I thought he was fantastic, and that's why I was so disappointed with the route they took him this season, because I knew you could do more. You could have had a better final season for him in this show. And yeah, I think like you, I think Maddie is a character who very steadily got better as time went on. I think she's one of the exceptions in the show where I think everyone kind of went down a little bit as it went, but I think she continuously got better each season. So yeah, I think those are my probably top three. But I think the cast all around here is great. I think, like I said, I think that's what the show will be remembered for is these characters, because I think they're what makes it work. Caring about these characters and these storylines is why we like this show.
I agree. I think, again, like despite even when it gets crazy, like these actors give it their all. Like there's a reason why these are some of the biggest actors in Hollywood currently, because they are good at what they do and they can turn a weird script into something really well done. Yeah. Ollie's probably my favorite, but again, I think that's just like Colin Domingo doing his shit. Let's just like being.
He's just great. Yeah,
I just love him on screen all the time.
Yeah,
and then probably Rue and Jules. Like that was that foundation of season one. I mean, fall in love with the show is those two together, and they're back and forth, and their will they won't they was so beautiful to me. I think at one point in time I would have said Lexi, and this season I'm like, no, definitely not Lexi, not anymore.
Well, like I said, I think 1, she was not great. 3, she wasn't great. I liked everything we got with her too. That was when I think she was her best, and it was because of her relationship with other people. It wasn't really because of her as a character. So
I thought, like, I liked her as like. Have you seen Cobra Kai?
No.
At all? Okay. No. She's the character. Like, I thought I liked her in those first 2 seasons because she was like the only normal one. I felt like she could bring down a scene and like level the characters, and being the one that's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, this is insane. Which she still does this season, but it's more.
It got a little condescending by the end of it. It felt like I was like, you're being a little too mean here. Like,
which again, I think is the point. Like, I like the idea of that, of someone who judges out other people but isn't justified by it. But they don't do anything with it to justify that storyline. It's just her judging the whole season, being like, all right, whatever. I
want to give a shout out too to Angus Cloud. I think Fesco is one of the better characters of the show too.
Yes,
obviously, him tragically passing was a very devastating blow to the show, because I look at this season and I'm like, there's definitely some interesting things they could have did here with his character, but
and
real life tragedies,
end it with kind of like remembering the like I did like that sequence of her doing all these things. That it felt like a good homage to him towards the end. Also say, and like this might be a weird final thought. I do think as someone who does not have a lot of experience in that world, it does feel like a weird, like there was so much commentary on it this season about like sex work and like how it feels like not like I don't think they had a great grasp on what that world entails. Like, I saw so many folks being like, "Hey, this is not how OnlyFans works, guys."
Right,
like,
right, yeah.
Like, that was so funny. It's like, oh yeah, it's definitely like an insane version of what that world is, and how like yes, it's a big industry, but they're like, I'm gonna make $1 billion by the end of the year, or whatever it was. I'm like, where are you gonna make that kind of money?
I'm again, same as you. I'm not really too familiar with the industry and how that works, but it did seem a little bit far-fetched in what was happening, like how quickly Cassie was making
she
money.
had like 10 million subscribers in like a month or whatever. I'm like, what the hell?
But then I think about it and I'm like, look, if Sydney Sweeney started an OnlyFans tomorrow, she probably would be at 10 million subscribers in like 2 days. If
anyone could do it, I could see
it'd probably be her, right?
Yeah.
I think that also too, because if you remember in season 1, they kind of did talk and deal with sex work, because Kat, her character in the first season was doing a lot of that. It was just different at the time because like OnlyFans wasn't really a thing yet. And that was more grounded and seemed more realistic in how it was handled. It just seems like each season got progressively more ludicrous and bigger and, not as realistic.
Well, it's interesting too because Faye, the actress who plays Faye, is a real life like actress. Like she actually does that work. Like you could easily be like, hey, so like what it's like
let's get your input on it. Right. But
oh my god!
No, instead they're just gonna put a Nazi tramp stamp on her this season.
What a weird character she was.
Have her poop herself a couple times.
That whole subplot, I didn't like it. Oh my god!
I didn't either. It was weird. Yeah. I know I've said that like 75 times at this point in the stream, but it
was definitely an interesting season of TV. Like I definitely think this was among my that was definitely one of the weirder seasons of TV. Not the worst season of TV I've seen. There's much worse. There's already the conversation. This is one of the worst seasons of TV in history. I'm like, nope, still not there. Nope, wrong again.
I can list like 15 seasons that are significantly worse than this one.
Absolutely.
Now, most confusing seasons, yes, we can agree on that. This is definitely one of the weirdest and most confusing directions a show has ever taken. I'll say that, but no, not worst.
Not really for me, Cameron. I really liked Kat as a character. I thought her stuff was pretty interesting sometimes, but I wasn't. Again, I think it was natural that a lot of these characters. Like again, I would not have been shocked if Nate wasn't showing up. I'd be like, that's fine. It's been 5 years. He's long gone. Whatever. Like most people in high school don't stay together. Like it's kind of weird that they are all still together for the most part. Like most don't do that. I haven't talked to most of I graduated 5 years ago now. I haven't seen most of them in 5 years. Right. So I don't know. Maybe they'll give her a spinoff. I don't know.
Well, and where they left her, I don't really care. They didn't bring her back because she was lying about a brain disease the last time we saw her. So. Yeah, they didn't have much left.
And then season 2, they kind of got away from themselves.
Well, and there was behind the scenes stuff, and very clearly with how she was written in season 2, that was very obvious. So,
absolutely. But we're gonna start wrapping this up. I want to get you out of here on time. Alan, thanks for joining us for a shorter episode today. Anything you have to shout out, promo, anything that you would like the people to go check out?
Yeah, I just put out a review of Scary Movie. I saw that over the weekend as well. I was probably more positive on it than some people were. So if you want to, check out my thoughts on that, that's on the page. I just talked about it earlier. Saw Masters of the Universe, so I'll get a review out for the next couple days. And I'm continuing my playthrough of 007 First Light, which I'm having a blast with. That game is awesome. So,
hell yeah, man! Heck yeah! We'll be back next week. Hopefully, show as scheduled. We'll be continuing our journey through X-Men 97 as Taz is going through it for the first time. We'll probably do Spider Noir and finally next week. Check out for that. And then we have the start of a new show. Not a new show, but a returning show. My Adventures of Superman is officially back for season 3 next week, so I'll be tackling that. Should have a pipeline this week, probably on Masters of the Universe. We are doing our big announcement. It's officially, I can officially say it. We're doing our big annual Ben 10 stream I got a bunch of our Ben 10 people gathering together. Jordan is joining us this year since he is officially caught up with Ben 10, so that will be very fun. That'll be I think that's Thursday. I don't know. It's coming out sometime. But yeah, without further ado, everybody, I will catch you guys later.